was a good one. Good one.
I'm racing over, keep my place. Oh, follow me, and the door in my face. Now tell me why, how come we always doing wrong, doing wrong? How come we can't keep it wrong, keep it wrong? How come it always is like this, even though we know that it ain't worth.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Bishop Kim Brown, and welcome to the Mount 360. Look, the 360 is something that was created just for us to be able to reach and meet your spiritual needs during the coronavirus pandemic. And so it is literally one church through all of our sites. And so I want to remind you that the Mount 360 is not just one location. It is all of the sites coming together. So thank you for joining us today. I want to remind you across all the sites, there are opportunities for you to still give to your contextual place of worship. So that information is on the screen. I want to thank you for being mature enough to continue to be about the business of our Lord and Savior. Now please know, if in this season you don't have any increase coming in your house, God understands. He knows your hearts, as the old saints would say, and He doesn't have that expectation. But if your increase has continued, your oil is still flowing, please remember that God does desire for us to continue to be a blessing to the kingdom. In fact, when you are a blessing to the kingdom in this season, you're really displaying your maturity and the fact that you know God is truly your source. So we love you. Thank you for tuning in to Mount 360. We know you're going to be blessed, regardless of which one of the site pastors or the bishop that's sharing the gospel. We thank God for you in this season. We're praying the blessings of God on your home, covering for you and your family. We pray for every healthcare provider and all of those first-line responders around the world that are keeping all of us safe. And we do just like Jesus. We look forward to the joy that is set before us. There is going to come a day when we will be together again today in this building and worshiping God in spirit and truth. Until then, be safe, be blessed, and may the peace of God rest with you.
Hey everyone, my name is Minister Brim, and I am the online campus pastor at the Mount Cyber. We want to welcome you to the Mount Global 360. What is 360? Cover, care, and connection. How can you participate in that? By liking, sharing, and letting someone else know about the Mount Global 360 initiative, which is here for you. So on today, as you get ready to go into one of our experiences, we just ask that you like, share, and continue to participate in the Mount Global 360.
Go, Pop Pop. Go, Pop Pop. Go, Pop Pop. Go, Pop Pop.
All right, welcome to Marriage Talk. We're excited. We're riding down the road. This is Car Conversations today, and we are so excited. You know how Elder and I roll. We wanted to do something a little different today, and this is definitely different. But we got guests with us today. So from the back seat, no back seat driving, but tell us who you all are. Carl Wilkins, pastor of the Mount Suffolk.
Yay!
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to keep my hand on the wheel.
Yes!
You by yourself, Carl?
No, sir. Oh, my wife Jessica Wilkins. I thought she introduced herself. I'm sorry.
I heard her say her name. Yes.
Oh, she said her
Jessica
name?
Wilkins.
Yes, First Lady.
Okay.
Yes.
Lady Jessica.
Yes.
Wow. Well, welcome to Marriage Talk, y'all. Car Conversations.
Thank you.
And you know cars are my demon, so I'm riding in this nice new 2020 Nissan Armada.
Beautiful.
Smells good, doesn't it?
Yes,
Smells
that
good.
new car smell.
I know that's right.
Get some ideas.
Yeah, pray for us. Look, let's jump in. So I think I know, but I need a refresher course. How did you all meet?
Oh wow, I love telling the story. We actually met at the altar. We actually
At the altar?
At
Yeah,
church?
At
church?
church.
Wow.
At church. Yeah.
At what church?
Actually, church called Mount Nebo in Sarah.
Okay.
Nice.
And going through a rough time. In my
So both of y'all were at the altar.
yes,
Okay.
yes, doing an altar call.
Okay.
And it was a
All
real,
right,
real
Carl,
heavy
you
moment.
trying to, hold on, man. Carl trying to pick up somebody at the altar.
That's terrible.
I'm like, come on, man. You done gave me a whole nother perspective of having altar calls now. Okay, so you got to bring this in. You up there holding your hands up, trying to get right with God and checking out the sister at the altar call. Okay, so at the altar.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we had the altar, and it was a real tough moment for me, broken moment, and in the end, the pastor concluded with, hug the person next to you.
Oh,
Yeah, and I just so happened to fall and crying. And from then on, it was just like a match made in heaven.
Wow.
And I just love telling that story.
You know what? Sunday, I might have to stop people from hugging. Turn around and hug your neighbor. Oh, okay.
So the hug was what made you know she was the one? How did you know she was the one? Was it some kind of electricity?
It won't no
that came-
Christian hug.
No,
How did you know?
over time,
Okay.
it slowly started to coming to me based off the way that she responded.
I mean, okay, but yeah, so at the altar, after y'all hug, what did you say? Let's go out? I mean, how did you...
Hey, can I get them numbers while we're at the altar? Can I get them digits?
Right?
We actually went our separate ways, but I think that's when we first noticed this person exists. But we kind of went our separate ways.
So
for a
were you
while.
really at the altar because you wanted to come to the altar, or you saw Carl go to the altar and you're like, oh, he at the altar?
No, we were there separately.
And
It
so
was
who
all
made the
individual.
initial contact after that then? How did y'all start the relationship
We
from the
actually
altar?
started miming together.
Okay.
And so then we would go out after.
Okay, so y'all at the church and then y'all miming just on the mime ministry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we would go out afterwards as a group, and then it just over time we just started to gravitate, and we had similar stories. I was just coming out of a divorce; he was getting ready to go into one.
Okay.
So our stories were similar, and we just started hanging out from then on.
So having come through, you going through getting out of the divorce,
That's
he's
good.
going through one. So obviously those were challenges. What kind of baggage did y'all bring from that into the marriage that y'all may have had to overcome? Any that you could share with?
Baby mama.
Okay.
Baby mama
Yes. All right.
We're going from the altar to baby mama
We didn't even
drama.
started the altar with
What
all
a,
that.
I know
what a
that's right.
jump.
Right.
We going from the altar to baby mama drama.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Okay.
Because we had how we had 8 now, so that was 6.
Mm.
We had 6 kids before
Okay.
we ever got together. So,
Yeah, y'all needed to be at the altar.
Yes, we did.
So any words of wisdom to people out there how to avoid baby
Go
mama
to the
drama?
altar Sunday.
right.
Or how to deal with baby mama drama, because obviously you're still together, so obviously you've been able to learn how to manage that. So what kind of words of wisdom would you give someone who may be having baby mama drama?
Well, I think the first part of it is, and I think one of the hardest lessons we learned is we were in a relationship before he was actually healed from the first relationship, and so that caused a lot of conflict because he wasn't sure. I think it was a hard time figuring out where my priorities lie. Okay, I got this life and these kids, this ex-wife and these kids.
Okay,
that's priority. But my new wife, so that was very difficult. And one thing that I learned, and that I tell people all the time: wait, let the person get healed. Let them, from that issue. But we also learned that he has to be the one to deal with that ex.
Right.
I can't.
That's
do it.
right. That's
So
right.
Then that gets completely messy.
That's correct. That's right.
And that's just undue stress for everybody, us, the kids.
That's
everybody.
right.
So he has to be the one to address whatever those issues are, whatever those difficulties are with the kids, with the the ex-spouse. Whatever.
Right.
It's a tough lesson.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a tough lesson. So obviously you tried to at first.
Oh yeah. yeah.
So
and you know, because they try to bring stuff to you, and you're just like, okay, I can handle this. Ain't no problem.
Right,
Let
that's
me do
right,
it.
right.
But yeah,
doesn't work.
not at all. Not at all. And I think another challenge was, you know, my learning my place with the other children, because I definitely didn't want to be a block between him and his children.
That's right.
But I'm also that mama, you know,
that's
to the
right.
children. So it was trying to navigate what my place was, and I learned to let them lead on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. That's good.
Now, how old were the children though? Because obviously, I think age in terms of the children may play a big role. So were they really still young, or were they middle school?
The youngest was middle school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they weren't baby.
Yeah, so they were old enough to really understand though, and probably
what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So
Technical difficulty.
I had to remind them. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So it was. I don't know. Do you have any lessons?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I learned was in that transition was that there was still some things that were attached to me, and I did not know that they were. Hold on, Carl.
Yeah.
Okay.
because I'm sure he lost sound.
No, he didn't lose sound, but I'm sure that's in the GoPro. It's in the picture.
It failed.
Yeah, one of the challenges that I had to overcome was really letting go of my past relationship. There were some things that I didn't realize that were still attached to me.
Okay.
And you know, Jessica, she brought it to my attention. She said, "Have you noticed that every time your ex-wife asks you to do something, you jump to it and you do it?
Okay.
And you don't respond to what I ask you to do." And,
that's good.
And I realized that I still had a necklace that was around my neck that I had from my previous relationship, and it was almost like it was a yoke. That every time, So I had to make a decision to take the necklace and the jewelry and give it all up.
Right,
you know,
right.
And that was a challenge because
you really liked that necklace.
Right, I really liked it. But once I gave it up, you know, it really, allowed our relationship to go for another.
It was like the string that you had to cut.
Yes.
Yeah, but look at what God has done. Now you got on another neck.
Got on
Yes.
Right? That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your advice to people out there is, okay, those letters that you got stuffed in a box under your bed,
let them go. Let them go.
Or a ring, or
just
a necklace,
yes.
anything that still connects you to that
absolutely.
person.
Yeah, like your memory book that you still got.
No, you threw that out already. Because I was looking for it. I think he threw it out when we moved. So
Thing had to go.
he threw it out.
She got a memory book in here. A memory book. Talking about you'll always be my number one. From 1975. Well, it's 2020. That memory got to go.
No, that's right? Yeah, he didn't even give me an option. He
But you know what? We laughing, but you don't think about the fact that soul ties, I guess, and things like that are really
real. They're real.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's subconsciously. You know, you don't really think that that's what's tying you, but when you get to the point that you don't want to let go of it, that lets you know that there is some kind of that's connection. That's right. Absolutely.
So you know, I got to go here, Carl, because you said Jessica let you know. How did she let you know? Babe, I just think you need to be more sensitive. Was it like that?
Oh yeah, because I'm sure that's the issue out there, right?
It was one of those come to Jesus moments. And she had to set me down and make me aware and help me to see.
A come to Jesus moment.
Yes.
Hear that? Hear that, ladies?
And I had to make a decision.
Come to Jesus meeting.
I had to make a decision.
Well, every husband or spouse don't like those come to Jesus meetings.
Right.
So,
That's right.
So
he liked it either.
I didn't like it.
Okay,
I didn't like it.
okay,
I didn't like it.
all right.
First, it was hard for me to see that, you know,
right.
until you know, I started praying
But did
about
she
it.
say it through mime or she?
I wish she had said it through mine.
Oh my goodness. No.
Okay.
But I ended up getting the message, and that's when the Spirit showed me basically what that was. You know, that I was still holding on to some things from the past.
Okay. Now, how much? So let's deal with this. How much of? So was it overnight? What, like, in other words, how long have you all been married now?
13 years.
13 years.
It'll be 14
in June.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
you notice how she paused
To make sure
to
you
see
knew.
if you gonna say the right
Yeah,
date. It'll be 14 in
I'm counting.
Right?
yeah.
I'm counting.
And you had said something like August or September. You're gonna have a come to Jesus meeting with that.
Right.
And so now, all right. So now you've progressed through baby mama drama.
Yeah, but I think you were going to go. If not,
Okay.
I'd like to go here where you were saying, okay, you've been married 13 years, you got to come to Jesus meeting. And I think for a lot of viewers, they might think then everything happened overnight. He just made a miraculous change.
Right,
And I think
right,
that's what you were
right.
going to ask.
Absolutely.
How long between the come to Jesus meeting and the change? Was it overnight, or was there some time? I mean,
there was definitely some time, and I
Okay.
think, and it was time for both of them, because even though he had started to progress to a place where he, understood where to prioritize, and she was not having.
Okay.
So it was like she would pull on him. It was like she got stronger, more aggressive in her pulling.
okay.
So, but yeah, it
Okay.
was definitely some time for her and him to get
Okay.
to that place and say, "Oh, this is new. This is different."
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, some years.
So
I think.
obviously, then some wisdom is you were patient, or I mean, how did you help make that transition?
Yeah.
Or were you antagonistic? Because I think sometimes a lot of
Yeah,
spouses
that's
won't
antagonistic.
give the patience
person
the space
time.
and time to make that transition.
Right.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
And I think that goes along
Absolutely.
with recognizing that he was still grieving his relationship
Okay,
when we
right.
got together. So
Okay.
I had
Now,
to
hold
give him
on.
grace.
That's a good point.
That's a good
That's
point.
a really good
because
point.
the only time we ever think about that language,
Of grieving.
the only time we ever think about the language grieving is when somebody has died.
Yeah. Right.
But the reality is, we need to understand
Marriage
something
is
has
death.
died.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
Divorce
correct.
is the death
That
of a
is right.
marriage.
Absolutely.
So that there is a process of grieving.
Right.
And the steps are the same.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, this is good.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Well, here's the new thing. This is interesting. Let's shift gears just a moment, because now you're the new pastor, and a couple of years into pastoral ministry, from the altar call now to pastoring, and I know that ministry and marriage, or marriage and ministry, can be a challenge as well. So have you all encountered any challenges in marriage now that you're pastoring? I know you all went to seminary together. You're still running your business. So, any challenges with marriage and ministry?
Yes. One of the challenges. One of the challenges. Is balancing work and wife.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is
Trying
that,
to do the alliterations,
right,
work and wife.
work and wife. Because God had a conversation with me that you showing more love to the work than you are to your wife.
Yeah. Well, I've really gotten that together, so I can speak to
Ah.
that.
That might be another marriage.
No, we don't need no marriage talk on
After
that.
30 years.
I got that balance. I balanced that thing.
That's the problem right there. He thinks he has it
Yeah,
balanced.
yeah.
That's the problem.
The Lord told me that I got that together. So have you so what do you do? Give her permission to be able to remind you when
I'm learning.
How do you balance it?
I'm learning that because I love both. I love what I'm called to do, and I love her. But
Right.
sometimes it's hard to make that distinction on where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be.
Right.
And I'm learning now to lean on her. And it's
Okay.
almost like, it's not that I'm asking her for permission, but I
You
do
asking
need
her for permission.
her release, to go and do that.
Right.
And
right.
so I'm learning that, in that
But even
challenge.
when you ask her, I mean, how does she say no?
Yeah,
mean, because
it's like
sometimes-
she'll feel like she's saying no to
Right,
God.
I can't say
Right,
no.
Right.
Because we know
Yes.
that's what you want to do.
Yes.
So for the, and I'm speaking up for the spouses, the fact that you got to ask already tells me you want to do it. Because to me, you should just already have not obligated
Committed to do
yourself
it.
and just
Right.
said, no, I can't do it
Okay.
because I got to be with my wife.
Right.
So,
Right.
Well, you know what we always say. The family was created in Genesis. The church was created in Acts.
That's right.
Right.
I mean, but
right.
that's easier said than done. I mean, the reality is that's a major point. Because it's like when I'll go in and ask her, is it okay if I go play golf? Well, what's she going to say?
Exactly.
You know, because you know,
No.
I'm asking out of formality, I guess.
That's
is what
exactly
she's
right. Because if I said no, might as well let you go. Because it won't be no good the rest of the day.
That's right.
Poking your lip out around the house. And I'll be like, could you go play golf? Go. Just go. Absolutely. Yeah.
That is the truth.
Okay. So balancing that way.
I think maybe one time I'll say no. Let me just see what
I'm gonna stay home.
Yeah.
Because you are my priority.
Okay. We gonna do a secret. We gonna do a secret camera and play the shows. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Pastor Carl.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the biggest challenges, and then there are others, but I think right now that's the biggest challenge that that I face.
Well, I think one of the advantages, and hopefully it was an advantage that you all have had, is because you didn't go into a traditional church setting.
Oh yes.
Lady Jessica did not have to deal with legacy of coming behind the first lady there, first of all.
Yes.
And she was able to establish kind of what the expectation is for a first lady at the Mount Suffolk, I guess,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely been a blessing for us. I thank God every day. His first pastor was at a mountain location.
Right,
Thank
right.
God. Yes, because I know there's just a lot of things that we did not have to deal with, and everybody that is kind of familiar with, you, Bishop and Elder, know what the standard is, know what expectation is, know what that husband and wife role is, so they kind of don't put that pressure on us.
That's
That's a great thing.
Well, now looking back, 13 years from the altar, got the hug, fell in love at the altar, the spirit started moving. I cannot get over that story. What do you think has been your greatest marital lesson? That's an interesting one. I don't even know if I would know the answer.
In terms of being able to stay together for 13 years, in terms of parenting, in terms of ministry, or any of the above?
Yeah, I guess
Just
any of the above.
What?
I would say learning to communicate and learning each other's language.
Okay.
Each other's love language?
Yeah, love language.
Okay. So elaborate when you say love language.
Each
I
one
mean, I
of
know
us,
what love language is.
Each one of us communicate or expect or accept love in a different language.
Right.
For instance, Jessica's love language is words and gifts. My love language is service. So me learning how to love her the way that she wants to be loved, and not the way that
I agree with that.
I want to be loved.
I agree with that. Yeah,
Right.
that's good.
Right.
So that was one of the greatest lessons that I learned, and I'm not saying I make an A in it,
Right.
Right. I think the greatest lesson
Gotcha.
for me was, and Bishop, you talk about it in your book, those genograms, learning his past, because a lot of where we bumped heads, and I was like, I just don't understand why you do,
Right.
Until it was one Christmas I went to, because his dad still lives in the house that they grew up in, and I went to the house, and I just stood, and we walked around the house. I think this is the first time I really walked around the house, and I was like, man.
So you walked around the house that he was
grew up in.
raised in.
Okay.
And I was like, I get it. It was just like it clicked, because the house he was raised in was kind of like the era where my mom was raised.
Okay.
And so that's a whole different generation than mine.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
the stuff that he brought to our relationship, I'm like, why would you do that? Why do you expect that? Why don't you want bigger than that? Why don't you? And it was because that's not what he was accustomed to.
Had not been exposed to. Right.
And so it gave me a whole different perspective of, you need to be patient. And you need to stop fussing so much, because this, you're really dealing with someone like with your mom's mentality in terms of growing and developing. And so it just gave me a different perspective so that I could operate in our relationship differently.
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah,
That was good.
That is very good.
I mean, and I guess the reality is, it's amazing how many people probably are married who have never even seen the context.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about just hearing about it. but have seen the context that your husband or your wife was raised in. Because same thing. One of the things, you just helped me, because I remember when I would go to visit her parents' house, the house that she was raised in. Her dad had a banner. You know how you have the banner, like the little triangular banner that was for your high school or your college or for a city. Every city that they had ever visited for family vacation, he had Niagara Falls, Atlantic City, you know, Florida, all those kind of things. That's information. That's why even to this day, she likes to travel. She wants to travel. She can literally be gone for 2 weeks, come home, unpack, pack, and let's go. and is ready to go again. Well, the reality is that's because that's how she was raised. And I think sometimes we don't really study by you just said you stood in that room. And when you stood in there, you get a lot of revelation or information about how someone has been raised. That is so neat. That is such a great point. That is amazing. Carl, so how different were the two of you all raised?
Oh, we were raised totally different.
Oh man, because I see Jessica's
Totally
back
different.
there laughing.
I was raised, you don't waste anything.
Oh, that's right.
When now Jessica was
Me
raised,
too.
if you don't
Me
want
too.
it, just throw it in the trash.
That was him too. I think
And,
that was him too.
And
Absolutely.
we still bump heads on that
I
today
save
because all this
everything.
water,
Yes.
water around the house that you're
Yeah,
not
she
drinking.
Oh, my
she
God.
freezing ice. Elder freezes ice. I'm like, it be
Well, I
leftover
tell you what,
ice
you know how you
in
go
the
to-
bag.
Yeah, you go to the stuff, you're having a
And I'm like, we had a cookout. And we got a half a bag of ice. She like, put that in the freezer.
for it.
That's right.
So the
It's
next
ice.
time somebody comes over,
already
I don't have
have
to
ice.
go
You already
buy
buy it.
more ice.
That's right.
Exactly.
I mean, you open up our freezer and there's ice bags in
Old
there.
ice.
Yes, yes.
Well, listen, give you perspective on
Like
how
ice is
different-
gonna go bad.
I think when Carl was probably about 5, they still had an outhouse.
Okay,
That-
okay.
Oh yeah, y'all were raised different.
But I'm from Maryland. I'm from the city. I mean, you know,
You had
like,
never
I don't
seen
know-
an outhouse.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
No.
That's
Wow.
right.
So
That's
yeah,
right.
Wow.
we were very,
Wow,
raised very
wow.
different.
Exactly,
Y'all,
exactly.
I got to tell you, y'all have
This is
made this
good.
ride. I have laughed. I don't remember laughing this much. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. And we just want to remind you what can happen if you go to the altar. Sunday, find a church somewhere and go to the altar. We're getting ready to pull up in this parking space, but we thank y'all for hanging out with us today, riding with us. Email us, text us, Instagram us, follow us on Twitter. We just love the privilege of being able to come in your life. Thank you so much for that privilege. Thank you all for hanging out with us
Thank
today.
y'all.
We know life is a little better. Your marriage is better because today you had some real marriage talk.